Hello everyone, my name is Trent Atkins. I am a professor here at the University of Montana, and I am the instructor for Special Education Law Policy and Practice, EDSP 462. So welcome aboard. I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself, and I'm also going to give kind of a macro overview of the course, and then also talk about specifically this week's activities, which are somewhat minimal, just to get us started and introduced to one another. So I'm now in my 14th year here at the University of Montana. Came here from University of Oregon, where I did my PhD in special education, and that was after some years of teaching in Ohio, and a bachelor's degree at Ohio State and a master's degree from Wright State, both in Ohio, and had kind of a broad experience of teaching in several different schools and different settings, from pretty much inner city to also very rural settings. So I've been teaching at the university level for a long time. Since I was about 25, I started teaching sociology, actually, where I was working on my master's degree. And I would also like to think I have a pretty broad, I guess, knowledge base of the social sciences, but also very much applied to the field of special education. So I actually live way down by Sula, and commute into town a couple times a week and spend the night in town, but I do live pretty far away. And I have 3 kids and am married. My kids go to Darby. Just a little bit a hobby of mine that actually pays a little bit. I'm also a professional musician in a local band called The Workers, and actually do a lot of other musical things with other people. So I also like to build, and I also have a sawmill that I like to use to build things from. So that's a little bit about me. So this course is actually, I won't say it's the most important. I won't be that guy and say it's the most important, but it is really, really important to your preparation. And I'd say that's especially true if you're involved, if your degrees in special education or school psychology, because this is really the nuts and bolts of it all. And a lot of people don't want to teach this course. I like it, partly I guess because it's so important, but also I'm pretty interested in the legal aspect, and I'm also really, probably more so, even really interested in the historical aspect, so of special education and disability. So if you look at the Moodle shell, actually I would encourage you maybe to pause the video and go there now. You're going to see the banner. I use a picture of a guy. You gotta look at this kind of close to see what's going on here, but I actually found this photo in some archives at the Montana Historical Society a couple years ago, and you have to look close at what's going on, but I'm fascinated with this guy. I wish there was a way to find out more about him. I call him One-Armed Steve, so that might narrow down what to look for. I have some other photos of him that I might share with you later. So I just love the photo. So what you're gonna, I mean, the course is a grand overview of everything special ed. But I mean, if I have to narrow it right down to what is the absolutely most important part of this, is that you learn the components of individualized education program, or an IEP, and the evaluation process. The evaluation process is a little different these days because you have some different options from the traditional model of what has always been called the dual discrepancy model, in kind of a negative way. I tend to agree with it. It's also been called the wait to fail model. where you wait for kids to fall so far behind they qualify for special ed. And then we're also going to talk, but then there's a whole nother approach referred to as response to intervention, that has been around since the reauthorization in 2004. So the current version of the law, special ed law, that we're working under. And that's something I've been pretty involved with, not as much from an identification point of view, but from a prevention point of view. It's something I've done a lot about. I'll share at least one publication of mine and some colleagues about RTI. So we're going to learn about that and just a lot of other things. But if I have to just narrow it right down, those are the things that you really, really need to know. And I engage in some practices to try to help you make sure you know these things, not just from a memorization point of view, but also really, absorbing and grappling with the issues so you develop an informed opinion. But there are things that I just want you to memorize too that's pretty important. So I've worked pretty hard on becoming a better online instructor. It's kind of hard. I probably feel similar to you about taking online courses, and how I feel about teaching them. I really like teaching this course face to face, but we're just trying to move toward more flexibility for students and be able to serve more people across the state and the region. So I'm trying to make it as good as I can. So I'm always open to your feedback too. Let me know if there are things, ideas you have. But I do things incrementally, meaning I don't just I don't load the course and put it on autopilot. I won't do it every week, but I actually try to do multiple videos like this one, just touching base, giving an overview, and I wish I actually recycled more of my videos than I do, but I found that if I do a video each week, it helps me be a better instructional designer because I redo things and I think about it and then give the overview so everything's clear. That said, I guess I probably have more than one pet peeve, but I'm usually pretty easy to get along with, but this summer I had some, and I'm almost always easy to get along with, but I do get frustrated when people don't watch these videos, and I don't make them long. I try not to go on and on and on. I try to make them clear to the point, and make things clear for the course, but it became very evident to me that people weren't watching the videos, and so my efforts to be very clear turned into some confusion, because if you don't watch the videos, you don't get the overview of what I'm doing with the course for that week. So I don't know how unique it is, but that's the way I do things, and I do it to benefit you and to just help make the course better. So if you continue to look at Moodle, when you come down, you're gonna, first under the banner or the picture, you're gonna see the course syllabus. That's there. I don't write a 30-page syllabus. I try to keep it brief and to the point. You're gonna see a discussion thread there for introductions, and that's something I want you to do for this week. Okay, provide just introduction to yourself. I know some of you have been in a lot of online courses. You don't have to. If you can cut and paste some of this, that's fine. I just want people to get to know each other. But then if you drop down, that's the start of week 1 activities. So I'm going to jump back up to the syllabus. So earlier in the week, I sent out an email about ordering the book. Just get it the cheapest way you can. I don't care if you share it. But with folks, just don't make that my headache. That I don't blame you for trying to save money. So it is pretty important that you use the current version, the current edition with it, which is the 4th edition. And I know it's a little spendy, and I used to not have a text, and I've just decided I should have a text. It's probably one that you will want to keep. So just for your practice. So you can find the textbook information in there. But I did send an email out, so hopefully most of you have already ordered your book. There are no assigned readings from the book for at least the first 2 weeks. Maybe next week there might be one, but you can catch up. So don't sweat it if you haven't ordered it, but do order it quickly. So in week 1, kind of is the first thing you're going to see is this video on there. So, and it's the only thing you're going to see is week 1. And I'm not asking you to do a lot this week, but I am asking you to introduce yourself and then watch a video that is actually quite personal to me. I guess a major reason I'm involved in special education is because of my experience with my own family. Actually, between both sides of my family, I have multiple people with disabilities. So on my mother's side, I grew up with an uncle. His name was Vince, and he was just always part of the family. And you're going to learn more about him as you watch this video. But what it is, it's a video of me interviewing my mom and one of her older sisters about their experiences and their memories of growing up with Vince and how the family made some decisions. So it's very personal to me, but I also think it's somewhat typical of someone who was born in the 50s or the 40s. I think he was born, let's see, late 40s, early 50s. It's in the video, and I'm just not remembering the date. But, you know, growing up in that time period, and you're going to get a feel for a lot of this of how his story situates within the historical context, right? But some of the things that he went through, experienced, decisions the family made, which were always made with good intentions, but you know, there are consequences to the actions and the decisions we make. And you know, some of the things that he experienced, I actually would say are very antiquated, but there are still some of the practices that are going on today, like, you know, people working in sheltered workshops and that sort of thing. So I think you'll find it interesting, and then what I'm asking you to do is just to, when you introduce yourself after you watch this video, and then just share a little bit about your thoughts on that. And then just so you know, this is going to come back around with an activity. So another thing about the overall course, so I've put in the syllabus the actual graded assignments. You're going to have other activities on a weekly basis which are going to tie into your participation grade. But you know, there are certain things that are graded. That's pretty clear in the syllabus. So this video is going to come back around. So it serves as an introduction to me also. And so check it out, watch it, you know, maybe take some notes, but this is a pretty informal week, and then next week you're going to have some more reading, and quite a bit of reading actually, and also an informal non-graded activity. So once again, welcome aboard. You'll learn more about me as we move through the course here. I hope if you're on campus that you'll swing by and say hello. I really like to meet students. I really like to interact with students. So swing by and say hello. I'm trying to be here 4 days a week and work at home one day. If you need things, email me is the best way to do it. Always email me. And if you need to talk or just want to chat about something, just send me your number and I'll just call you, and I'll try to be as on top of that as I can. If ever you don't get a response from me on email, and especially if it's urgent, don't hesitate to email me again. I get a lot of emails, so you're not going to make me mad if you email me twice. I always tell people that because I like to be responsive, especially to students. So if you need something, get in touch. So thanks so much, folks. Enjoy the activities for the week, and I look forward to getting to know you better.